Okay. Hi, guys. We are live. My name is Chris. I'm an emotional mastery coach here to share with you today. The topic is about dreams and goals. And if you have them and you're like, God, I have this dream, I have this goal, um, but it seems too big, or it seems like I don't know how I can believe in it, or I don't know how to make that work in my life. I don't know how to make that a reality that I can live in and experience. Then today's live stream is for you. I'm going to talk about three hidden keys to manifesting your dreams. There's so many that we can get into, and so much valuable information out there. But these three that I'm going to talk about today have really been helpful for me in my experience. For anyone who doesn't know, I had a childhood dream to work on Conan's show, television talk show, and I was able to manifest that. I worked there for 7 years as an associate producer. I'm now living my dream, manifesting this company to share with you insights like this. So welcome to the stream. If you're new here, I'm going to send out a link for anyone who wants to join. I'm going to share these tips and then I'm going to open the room up for people to jump in. Sakina's here. Hi, Sakina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, Thanks for being here. So let me get into each one of these. I don't want to waste too much time, and then we'll jump into open discussion, questions, and I don't know how long we're going to be up today, but okay. So the first one is don't discount the mundane. I think sometimes we have these big goals and dreams, and we think that we need these big things to happen in order to accomplish them. But in truth, that's not needed. So, for example, or I should say, in truth, you're going to have like big moments, but you're also going to have a lot of smaller moments that don't seem special on the surface or might not seem like important at the time. But later you're going to look back on them and be like, damn, that was what started everything. So, for example, um, how did I get on Conan? Like, how did it actually officially start in a way that I could pinpoint and say, there it was. That's what did it. Um, it was going to a 4th of July barbecue because that's where I met a friend of mine, my friend Miguel, who at the time worked for Jimmy Kimmel's show. And ultimately, a couple years later, after we met, um, I reached out to him when my job at the Queen Latifah talk show ended. And I asked him, hey, do you know of any openings at Kimmel? I would love to get into late night. And I'm now available. And just so happens that there was an opportunity that he set me up for. I interviewed. They then said, this is a longer story. I'm breezing through the story, but they then put me in touch they said, you're overqualified for this position, but we do know of a position opened at Conan. Would you like us to recommend you for that? Absolutely. And then they did, and that's how I got Conan. But it all started with an invite to a backyard barbecue. That's it. A very mundane, normal, uh, uh, on the surface doesn't seem that important uh, event. A friend hangout. That's what it was. It was just a small social hangout, and that's what ultimately got me to meet the people who would help me get to the dream destination that I was going for. Um, Another great example, I how did I get rid of years of anxiety and panic attacks where I was on medication and I was suffering and I was experiencing um, a daily anxious anticipation about life and stress about life. How did I get rid of that super quickly? Going to the mall. I went to the mall because doing that was how I talked to a cashier one day who told me about this book that I ended up being interested in enough to check out. And that book contained information about how to listen to my emotions in a way that got me to approach my life in a way that got rid of my anxiety and panic attacks and did so very quickly, like within a couple days. But at the surface, looking back, doesn't seem like a big deal. Going to the mall, going to a barbecue doesn't seem like big things, and they're not. They're mundane. Some of the most magical moments in my life have come out of the most mundane, normal experiences that you could think of. And here's the thing though, we write this stuff off. We discount it. We 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 see a trip to the mall or a trip to the store as a chore. And then what happens when we treat life like that? We fall out of good headspaces and then we miss the gold that is hidden right in front of us. Like if I just went into the store that with the girl that recommended me this book, I could have just walked into that store, quietly did my thing and then left, or I could have just had a very like surface level conversation with her where I went in, thank you so much, have a good day, and then that's it, and I walked out, and I wouldn't have gotten that that piece of insight that helped me open up this whole new journey. But it was being there in a good mood, in a good vibe, and playing in the moment. I was playing with this person. I was like joking with her. I was telling her like, I can't believe that, I told the story in another episode, but basically like I got hooked up with something, a really cool deal that wasn't normally what the store did. And I just told her like, I can't, but these good things just keep happening to me. I don't know how to explain it. And it was kind of like opening up in that way and playing with her that opened up the insight that she was like, oh, well, that actually has been happening to my roommate too. Here's what's going on with her. She's reading this book. And then that sparked me going on that journey. And so I guess what I'm just saying is for this tip is there is gold hidden all around you. And if you're paying attention and if you're not and you're seeing everyday moments as really like what's the word, potent for amazing opportunities to pop out to you, then they can. It's Sakina saying, I'm loving this. Thank you. Yes, good, good, good. I'm glad this is resonating. So don't discount it. Don't see trips to the store as a chore. Like, I mean, you can, but the more you do that, the more you're going to close yourself off from the gold that's hidden in the everyday. And don't think that you need big, huge, monumental things to happen in order to get your dreams. That's not what happened to me. The dreams came out of very normal seeming, small seeming, everyday seeming events. So remember that. Remember that. Okay, so that's key number one. Key number two is your mind, our mind, everyone's mind, is ripe for suggestion. It is very easy to suggest. It's very gullible. The mind is very gullible. It'll take anything it hears, and if you tell it enough, or if you repeat it enough, it'll believe it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Doesn't matter if it's built in facts or supported by facts, or if it's completely factless. Your mind will believe it if you keep repeating it. This is why hypnosis and hypnotherapy can be so effective for people, because the mind is super suggestive or super open to suggestion. And so, because we know that, the key is to suggest it things on purpose that's positive. Suggest it positive things on purpose. So there's a few different ways to do this. Um, Obviously, positive self-talk is also very suggestive. So speaking highly of yourself, supporting yourself, encouraging yourself, talking nicely to yourself, being kind to yourself, that stuff is all amazing. Another way to suggest positive things to your mind is to pose positive questions to yourself. And even if you don't have the answer right away, even if you don't know the answer, pose positive questions to your mind. So for example, you can ask yourself things like let's say you run into a project that you have to do, or a thing that you have to, I don't know, something pops up on your radar, something you have to take care of, something you have to accomplish, something you have to do. Maybe it's work, maybe it's personal, doesn't quite matter. And you're just not sure how to do it. Instead of like dwelling in the stress or the pressure of like not knowing how to do that, I want you to pose positive questions to yourself. Like, for example, I wonder how I wonder how I can make this easier on myself. I wonder I wonder what cool solutions are out there for me that can help me with this project or with this thing. I wonder, or it doesn't have to start with I wonder. You could even just say like, how can I make this smoother and easier for me? And even if you don't have an answer in the moment, what you're doing is you're posing a positive question to your mind. And here's how the mind works. It wants to just answer things. It wants to connect dots and it wants to close loops. So if you provide it a positive curiosity loop, like I wonder how I will figure this out. I wonder how I can figure this out in an easy way. What you're doing by just posing that question and then moving on with your day, your brain is still working on that in the background. And so it can over time, even when you're not noticing, answer these questions for you and then provide you those answers in the most random times, like while you're in the shower or while you're driving somewhere or while you're playing with your kids or while you're riding your bike or going on a walk or something, or you're meditating or whatever. You could just be anytime you're in a good headspace, your mind can pop these ideas of questions that are important to you. But that's a positive suggestion in the form of a question. You could also use something that I may have spoken about this a couple weeks ago. I can't remember, but using the phrase, I get to. And you could use that phrase when you're thinking about your dreams. You could think about your dreams and say things like, "Oh man, when I'm living my dream life, I get to do this, I get to do that, I get to talk to these people, I get to visit these places, I get to do this and that." By doing that, you're suggesting to yourself positive future outcomes. But you can also suggest the same thing with the same prompt of "I get to" in present moments. So, for example, like let's say you're actually Alina's here with me and I'm going to bring her up in a minute, but like what we've talked before about how she hasn't really enjoyed her job, and like we've been talking about like different ways to think about that. And one of the things that we mentioned, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, forgive me, I don't remember exactly when it was, but we talked about like what are some of the good elements of the job that she currently has. And she mentioned that she works remote, so she can actually wake up, like literally minutes before her shift starts. And she does not have to wake up super early. She does not have to go on a long drive. She doesn't have to like, get all fancy or like and she doesn't have to do any of that. And she can also take breaks whenever she wants. So things that she can repeat to herself that are true in the present moment is, I get to wake up minutes before work starts. I get to take breaks whenever I want because it's a remote job. It's like getting these things, like putting a suggestion, which is totally true and positive and feels good to you, but planting those seeds in your mind of positive statements that support you and what you like and what you love and what's good in your life and what's working. Those are letting your mind. It's those suggestions are directing your mind to operate in a certain way. So, for example, if she feels and I'm going to bring her in, we'll talk about this in a minute, but if she feels trapped or in a job she doesn't like, but she starts suggesting this to herself, well, I get to do this and I get to sleep in, and I get to take breaks. And you guess what happens when you start saying things like that to your mind? Your mind then starts to go, oh, I am kind of free, aren't I? I get to take breaks. That's true. I can stop whenever I need to. I can walk out of the room whenever I need to. I don't have to get up super early. I can get up right before. Like these are things, I guess I am free. And then it'll start finding more evidence to support that story that you're now telling, that I'm free, that I have time, that I have freedom, that I can do things that I want. Um, hi Yoni, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Um, yes, Sakina, you're asking to come up after Lena. Sure, join. Yeah, pop in. Everyone who's here is free to jump on. So that's another thing. Positive suggestion. So that's the second key. Is use the mind is very suggestible. So use that to your benefit by using positive suggestion in your words. You can do writing exercises like this. You could do thinking exercises like this. I like to sometimes speak out loud to myself. I'm more of like an auditory learner. So you can talk out loud to yourself about this or brainstorm to yourself, but really play with positive suggestions. Okay, that's the second key. Third key is when you're visualizing, you've heard it, probably or a common manifesting your dreams uh, uh, technique is visualization. It's very popular, very common. Um, and I want to highlight two aspects of it. Both are feeling aspects. So visualizing our dreams is so helpful. And people who are CEOs of big businesses do this. Athletes do this. Performers do this. Actors do this. A lot of them. Which is visualizing what they're doing before they do it. Artists do this often with like whatever their art is, their art form. And it helps your mind and your body prepare itself for the inevitable dream future that you want. And so use visualization to help you, but focus on two things specifically with visualizing. And they're both feeling related. One's the emotional feeling of the moment, of the scene that you're thinking about, and two is the sensory feeling of the scene you're talking about. So I'll explain this in a sec. So the emotional side is kind of self-explanatory. Whenever you have that dream, whenever you're performing your dream, you're doing the thing you love to do. You're at the place you want to be in. You're with the person you want to be with. You're making the money you want to be making. You're the career, you're doing the career that your heart is in love with, whatever you're passionate about. Imagine yourself, close your eyes and visualize if that's helpful to you. Imagining yourself in that moment of when you already have it, right? You're already doing the thing, you're already with the person, you're already experiencing the life that it is that you want. And when you do that, make sure you feel the emotional feeling. What is it? Are you having fun? Is that the feeling? Are you excited and passionate? Is that the feeling? Are you at peace and super relaxed? Is that the feeling? Are you uh are you what is specifically the feeling that you're experiencing or that you want to experience, and allow that emotion to wash over your body. um what that does is, well, it does multiple things, but it's training your mind and your body to get used to the future that you want. And it's also indicating when you can feel that really high vibe emotional element, you that emotion is telling you, remember, this is again part of emotional mastery is understanding your emotions. Our emotions are a response to our thoughts. That's a neuroscience thing. We have a thought, and then we have an emotional reaction to that thought. We have a thought, and then we have an emotional reaction to that thought. That's how emotions work. And so when you're in your dream, when you're visualizing your dream and you're getting an emotional feeling from it, whether that's passion, love, if you're are you feeling in love right there when you're thinking about, popping into your dream life? When you're experiencing the positive emotion, that's telling you, remember, that positive emotion is telling you that the thought that you're currently thinking right now is right in line with your dreams, meaning you are on a positive mental emotional wavelength where if you keep floating up here, you will be thinking more in line with your dream, talking more in line with your dream, acting more in line with your dream, making more decisions that are in line with your dream. You're going to be operating full scope, full spectrum, operating in ways that will most help you move towards that dream. So keep that in mind. That's the emotional element. Now I want to talk about the sensory feeling, because it's also important to get a feeling of the sensory things that your future reality that you want, getting a sense of what that's like. And what I mean by that is like the five senses, like what are you seeing in your visualization? Who's there? What are you doing? What is the activity you're a part of? What does it feel like to be there in terms of like what are you hearing? What are you smelling? Are you drinking something? Are you eating something? If so, what does it taste like? What is the putting yourself in this sensory feeling of the world and the reality that you want to eventually live. And what that is doing is it's preparing your mind and your body for that future. You're now when you do things like this, you're getting yourself ready in belief form too. You're getting, oh, I can believe I could do that. I've literally was there in my mind, like sitting in the chair. I imagine sitting or performing, whatever. If you want to be a comedian, you can picture yourself on stage holding a microphone, talking, listening to a laughing audience like that sense. I want you to get a sense of the sensory feeling of it. And this is sort of like, the emotional feeling is like what the heart feels for something. The sensory feeling is kind of like how the mind thinks of something. So it's almost like, if you were blindfolded, it's almost like when you're blindfolded and you're trying to figure out what an object is, and you're kind of like, okay, well, and you kind of feel it with your hand of like, okay, this is a pen. Okay, I can feel that this is a pen. This exercise of using sensory feeling, it's almost like that's your mind's way of doing this, of like feeling out like what your dream is. And it's so helpful to opening your mind up to that reality that you want, so that it just feels not foreign to you. It feels very natural to you when you start to do this, especially if you do this regularly. So those are the three keys. To recap, don't discount the mundane elements of your life, the everyday moments of your life. I found that most of the magic that has gotten me to the dream life that I've wanted, that I've had since childhood, and like things that I couldn't even imagine, like getting rid of my anxiety, like I didn't even know that was a thing. That those things came from everyday things: going to an event, going to a friend's house, going to the mall. It's simple. It's like little things. Second, uh, the mind is ripe for suggestion. So use that to your advantage and use positive suggestion. Third, visualize with two different kinds of feeling: the emotional feeling and the sensory feeling. Do those things, do those three things, and watch how you logically are training your mind to operate in places and on wavelengths that naturally, organically, and commonsensically can help you make the kind of choices, and pop the kind of ideas, and get the kind of insight, and get the kind of energy and intuitive impulses that will lead you to all those cool things that you want. So those are the keys. I'm gonna now open the room. We're gonna start with Alina. She was first. Alina, welcome to the stream. How are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm good. I'm good.
Good. What's going on? What's on your mind today?
Good thoughts.
Good.
Uh,
Okay, great. Awesome.
yeah, I've really
Anything
been
you want to share?
yeah, I mean I've just been practicing a lot of what we talked about last, and then what you've brought up today as well, of really recognizing like, okay, what is it that I feel? What is this emotion, right? And then
Mhm.
doing that process of like, well, I'm feeling this because of what I'm thinking. And so how can I
Yes.
disprove what I'm thinking, right? And just listing out those good things in my
Mhm.
life that show otherwise of that, kind of, I guess, limiting thought or belief or feeling,
Mhm.
right? So just like,
Yep.
well, what is around me that is good, and what is working and
Mhm.
has proven to work up to this moment.
Oh, that's amazing. And what has been your experience when you're doing that?
It changes the way that I feel. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I wouldn't say that in every time that I do it, that it completely turns like the entire experience at 100%. Like,
Right.
if that makes sense. Like, it's not like I can go, at lightning speed from one opposite to the other,
Mhm.
but sometimes it can. Actually, I've noticed that sometimes it does happen,
Mm.
but I noticed that at least by 50%, I'm improving the state that I started with.
Hell yeah. Do you realize how big of a deal that is? Like, are you do you I mean, just hearing you talk like this makes me so happy, but like that's so helpful to you. That is so helpful to you. And
Yeah.
do being able to do it now in these little ways that you're doing it is like the longer you do it and the longer you practice it, the better you get at it. But obviously the more you do it, also you're shifting yourself a little here, a little there, a little there, and over the course of time, like I'm talking about like the next few weeks, the next month, you do this for 2 months, like big changes can really shift for people when they start doing this on a regular basis.
Well, and what's also interesting, I think that writing it down also really helped. I don't know if I'm onto something, but I've heard something about like the reticular system or something, the reticular activating system.
Reticular activating system. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if writing things down adds to that in some sort of way, but I noticed that like writing this stuff out really
Y-
helps, and taking that formula with every sort of thought that's not serving me. I think my next step would be, well, let's look at the good thoughts, right? And practice with those, but I think that the negative feelings and the negative thoughts and working through those using this formula has already been like very, very helpful.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, just so that anyone who doesn't know, the reticular activating system is kind of more sciency than I like to talk about. However, I'll give the basic explanation of it. It's our brain's like ability to it's our brain's ability to like filter for certain things. So for example, if you think like for example, if we talked about red cars a lot, red cars, and I just went on for a minute about how cool red cars are and how awesome they look and how they're everywhere, and I just went on and on about talking about red cars, red cars, red cars, and I kept repeating that to myself and to you if you're listening to this, and it's like I keep saying red cars. You're basically training your reticular activating system in your brain to start then noticing and filtering out for red cars. So you'll notice as red cars appear in your reality, in your world, when you go about your day, whether that's you're walking out, you're driving around the neighborhood, or you're watching TV, you're watching whatever TV show or a movie or a streaming thing or whatever, YouTube video. You're When a red car enters your vision, your peripheral vision, your brain will go, "Oh, see, that's one, that's one, that's one." And it'll almost like be pointing it out to you. It's like because think about it, like even this very moment, there is so much that you're taking in, like trillions of bits of information. Like even on your like for example, I'm talking to you right now, and that's where my focus is. However, also in my peripheral vision, I see that I have a whiteboard to my left. I have a backpack in the corner of my room and a yoga mat. I have a cat on this side of me that's sleeping on my bed. I have a light in front of me, like a ring light here in front of me. I see in the picture here like my a painting behind me, right? So there's all this is just like the handful of things I'm noting. There's millions of bits of information that my eyes are consuming and my ears are consuming in even this very moment. And when you train your reticular activating system, your brain is then going to take all that millions of bits of information and it's going to pinpoint the things that are most relevant for you. Oh, whatever it is, if in this case it's red cars we were talking about, it will keep pointing out red cars. So the way to train your or activate your reticular activating system is just to tell it certain things about what you want. And in the same way that if you tell yourself about red cars a lot, you'll see more red cars. Imagine doing that with uh, romance, or imagine doing that with money, or imagine doing that with cool opportunities, or imagine doing that with anything. The more you talk about that in a positive way, where you're bringing that up to your attention and your mind, you're training your mind to then filter the world and all of the pieces and parts of it so that when you run into it, you will notice those things stand out to you, which is really fucking cool.
Yep. And I think that is essentially what we're doing here with this formula. And
Mhm.
well, I've been writing out, resources that I have, right? And so
Hell yeah.
if you're writing that out, right, you're programming your brain
Yes.
to highlight the existing
Yes.
ones, and so then doesn't your brain naturally,
Yes.
reshape itself
Yeah,
as
totally.
effect?
And writing also helps specific not everyone's a writer. Like, I think it's like I don't know, I heard a stat, and I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know how close or accurate this is, but writing is super helpful for like 70% of people. It's like people who just like, because also writing things out, it kind of also slows the mind, because writing a single word sometimes takes like a second or two to actually do it. It's way slower than when you just think it in your head really fast. And so things out slows down your mind and keeps your focus on a specific topic or a specific thing that you want to be thinking about for longer stretches of time, which is so, 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 so helpful. So that's amazing. Do you ever go back and read what you write, or do you just write in the moment and use that as like an exercise that you use in the moment?
No, I read it. I've actually
Oh,
okay, like,
nice.
I have a giant bed. It's a California king, and I store things, like, on it and sleep with them sometimes, and my note
Nice.
it's like my journal, my little floral journal with my attached pen. I just have it under, one of my pillows, and I've just been, like, reading it, just reading the same, things that I've already written down and
Hell
just
yeah.
rereading them when I need a reminder.
Oh,
I
that's
have
so
other things,
nice.
makeup bag here with me. It's just like everything.
Nice, nice. And when you're writing, I'm just curious, like, you're writing exclusively positive, like, notes to yourself, like positive things that you want. Like, how describe what you're actually writing?
Well, I'm reformulating, like, okay, so I'm having this thought, right? And
Hmm.
or like, how do I feel? If I don't feel good, what is the feeling? Can I put a name to that feeling?
Yes.
And deciding where that's coming from, and it's my thoughts.
Hmm.
And then looking for kind of like the opposite, not the opposite action, but I guess the opposite
Hmm.
experience of that in
Hmm.
my life.
Beautiful. And then you're writing about that. That's so fucking cool. I love that. Oh, I'm so glad you're doing that. And
Yeah.
have you seen any cool benefits so far of that exercise?
Well, yeah, I think just like the manifestation of like being able to change this
Yes.
feeling,
Yes.
right? Like feeling of fear. I mean, I know we all have experienced it at one point or another. It's like, clenched body
Yes.
parts and racing
Yes.
heart, whatever, right? And I noticed that, like, okay, let me open the book or the notebook or whatever to this page that I've already written this stuff
Mhm.
out on, and let me read that. And after I read it, or I've also been like talking to my
Mm.
mom about it, and I said to her
Yeah.
basically the formula, and talking it out with her is
Mm.
also helpful. And she's like, "Wait, that makes so much
Good.
sense." And I'm like, "I know, Chris is a wise one."
Thank you. Well, I'm so glad you're practicing it. That's the important part, right? So, yeah, that's so cool. And oh man, you were saying something that I wanted to jump on, but I kind of forgot what I was gonna say. But I love that you're doing this and practicing it. Oh, I do remember what it was gonna be. So in manifesting, remember like how thoughts evolve. Remember, in manifesting, they talk about thoughts become things, right? Thoughts turn to things.
Yeah.
And how does it do that? Our
Mhm.
thoughts, I don't have my board in front of me, but it's thought. I'm also smaller than I usually am because you're sharing the screen with me. Thoughts, then emotions, then words, then actions. That's sort of how thoughts evolve. You feel a thought, you get an emotional response.
Okay.
Eventually, the more you think of that, then you start talking that with words. You start speaking your thoughts. That has certain outcomes that happen, right? And then there's like actions that you take, choices you make, decisions you make based on those thoughts, good or bad. And so when you change the thought, which is the root of all of it, if you change the thought from negative to positive, suddenly the words that come out of that are now go from negative to positive. And then meaning the way you speak, the way you talk, the tone in your voice, your body language changes, your essence changes, your energy changes, and that affects the world around you. That affects anyone you're talking to. If you have, for example, negative thoughts and you go into a job interview with negative thoughts, the way you talk is going to be different. Your body language is going to be different. Your tone is going to be different. But when you change your thoughts to positive ones and then you go into that same exact interview, your words are different, you hold yourself different, your muscles are more relaxed, your voice is more relaxed, your tone is better, and the actions you take, the choices you make, those are things when you, again, when you change your thoughts from negative to positive, you're just going to be making different choices. Like people who are negative make different choices than people who are thinking positively. The same person thinking negative, you're going to make certain choices. When you're thinking positively, you're going to make different choices, and those are going to result in different manifested outcomes. Those are just very logical. But to your point, the first real thing that you'll notice when you start changing your thoughts is a different emotional response, because thoughts, right?
Yeah,
Thoughts come and then emotions after. And for someone who deals with or struggles with anxiety or panic attacks, or like I did, that is honestly the biggest win of them all. Like, yes, cool things will come out of it, opportunities will come, things will line up, people will show up that you are just like, oh, I'm so happy I found you, like as a friend or as a romantic partner, or as someone who hires you for something. Like those will absolutely happen too. But the biggest thing, especially if you're dealing with, anxiety or struggling with depression or anything negative, the biggest thing is getting that emotional change, right? Like, so
exactly.
I'm so happy that you're experiencing that, because that's so huge.
Yeah, I mean, I really noticed it because sometimes when I get like too scared about something or too worked up about something, it's like I'll be outside, but it's almost like I'm
Mm,
not even there. Like the outside is there, the trees are there, but I'm not. It feels like I'm not really in sync with the
mm,
environment around me because so like entrenched within the thought
mm.
process and the feeling
I know that.
process, right? And so I've been really applying in those situations and just like really realizing when that's happening, because I think that I've spent a significant number of years thinking that like this is just how
Yeah.
everyone feels. I actually I didn't realize that until somewhat recently, I guess. I remember explaining to a guy friend of mine, well, I feel this way and it's pretty intense and oh, but well, we all feel that way. And he's
Mm,
like, no,
mhm,
we don't. We don't all feel that way consistently. And that's when it
mm.
first hit me, right? This was a few years ago, but it first hit me. I was like, oh, not everyone is burdened by like deep fear over routine activities. Like
Right.
no one else in
Right.
the room
Although I
felt
do
that way.
know from my
No,
own
but
years suffering from anxiety, I know that feeling of being out and about, even
people, yeah.
sometimes around other people, like or in wherever. It doesn't matter where I went. I still had this feeling of a disconnect from my surroundings. Like I was so in my head and in my body of like the
Mhm.
stress and the tightness that I didn't. I know that feeling. It's hard to describe, but it's almost like a dissociation from like the real world in a way. You kind of just feel like
Yeah.
not quite there, kind of like floaty and
Floating.
yeah,
Uh-huh,
you know
floating.
what I'm talking about.
That's I do, yeah, but I think that maybe like in my childhood, I think I'd been with similar beings a lot that probably felt
Mm,
similar to myself, and then it was like, well, I started to get into, like, adolescence and stuff, and then I had that one conversation with the guy that I just was telling you about, and he's like, "No, I don't feel
mm,
that way," and it's funny because he wasn't part of my, like,
mm,
immediate friend group, he was an acquaintance
mm,
becoming a friend, and I thought to myself, "What? I thought we all feel this way, right?" And it introduced me to something that was obviously very
yeah,
new. And I realized I think that was my first, kind of opportunity to see that maybe it doesn't always have to be like that. Nonetheless, I've still spent a few years after that in these states, but you live and you learn,
Totally.
right?
And that
And
was
here
part
I
of the journey
am.
too. Like first
Yeah.
discovering like, oh, I don't need to be this. I don't it does things don't need to be this way and not everyone feels this way and there are different outcomes that people could get. And then maybe that helped open you to the idea of like, well, what are those things? And I would like to find it for myself and like and that led to all the things that and resources and people that you've run into since then in order to help you get to where you are now.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting? I think maybe Sharon and I and you maybe have talked about this briefly, but the way that I met Sharon was in the woods. I had touched a tree. It was so silly. I'd never really done anything like this before, but we met at a park and in a wooded area in Mill Valley, and I touched a tree and I was with my mom and a dog that my mom was pet sitting, and I was like, "Tree, bring me
Mm,
this
mm.
wisdom," right? And I want to benefit from all your wisdom. And I was looking up at it and giggling. And then Sharon was walking with her dog and she heard me talk about that. And somehow I think she came up and introduced herself. And I just think this whole thing has been so interesting because her clubhouse rooms at the time were called, there was the word wisdom was
Yeah.
basically in the name of her room, and then I ended up meeting you in one of
Mhm.
her
Mhm.
rooms as well. So I think that, when we talk about manifestation and bringing people into our lives, right? I think that that is also a perfect
Yes.
set of examples that, helped bring certain folks like yourself
Yes, that's
into
you
my life.
manifesting, like and imagine, like, as you continue your journey and I'm gonna bring Sakina on in just a second, and then Alina, you could stick around too. But as you go about your
Sure.
journey, like, you're gonna a when you're manifesting your dreams and they start coming to life they are coming to life now. It's like these little things are part of the dream path, especially in the start. Like, it starts with emotional things. It starts with, oh, a newfound sense of ease, a newfound sense of flow, a newfound sense of my intuition. I'm in touch with my intuition more, a newfound sense of clarity. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I know how to do this. I know how to navigate this exactly like you're doing now. The fact that you can articulate the things that we've talked about in our coaching about what you're doing and how you're thinking about your emotions, how you understand them and what you're using to to sway and direct them and navigate them, it's just beautiful. It's so powerful. And when those dreams of yours, like the biggest dreams, manifest, you'll be able to look back at times like this and be like, this was part of the journey. And I kind of needed to meet the Sharons of the world and the Chris's of the world to get me to the place that I'm at now. You can trace it back like that. Not that you need any of us, but just like that was an important element of your journey.
I do need you
Thank you.
guys. You're my
Oh, yeah.
community.
I love
You're
that.
part of
And in the
my
same
community.
way, I need you because I'm doing something where I'm trying to
Oh,
share this information and like people who resonate with it, who like watching it, who like interacting with it, who like joining me on streams like this. That just helps me because my new job is to spread the word and talk about this more publicly and start helping people in a more educational kind of way. And so, so in the way, it's like a mutually beneficial thing. So it's very beautiful. I want to invite Sakina on. Hi, Sakina. Welcome to the live stream. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
hello.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can. We can. Yes.
Okay, good.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Pardon me?
Oh, I was just asking if you could hear
Pardon me?
us.
What'd you say?
Oh, I think we're on a delay. So you're,
I can hear you.
yeah. Yeah. I think you're on a delay. So we'll just
I
know
can
that
hear
when,
you. But, yeah, but
oh,
when,
okay,
yeah, I
Sakina,
can
since,
hear you,
since
but
you're
it's
on a
not
delay,
going to my headphones.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's some technical
Okay,
difficulties because I
so,
think so just ask your question and then I'll try to we'll chat about it. But I don't know if we can do back and forth because when I say something, there's like a 2 or 3 second delay, and then you are asking it's going to get a little confusing. So just ask your question, and then I'll try to talk about it.
Okay, so my question is, uh, how do you uh, fix negative suspicion about something? Uh, how do you fix that? Like, let's say you want to do your Conan job, right? But then you have all these things like, what if
Mhm.
this doesn't happen? It's too difficult to get there. Like these type of things in
Mm,
terms of what you're talking about today. How do you get over that?
mm. Great question. Okay. Yeah, those are normal parts of the journey too. It's like those doubts, those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs that we have of like, maybe this is not going to happen. Maybe this is going to be too hard. Maybe it's not going to
Yeah.
work. Maybe this is just a pipe dream. Maybe this isn't real. I'm not good enough. Maybe it's going to be too, like, statistically impossible or whatever. Those are all natural and normal to feel. So, first off, I would say understand that that's a very human, normal, natural response to things, and don't beat yourself up for thinking them. That's the kind of stuff that Alina was just going through, like in her own life, of like she's thinking about those, and then she's trying to redirect her thoughts to something more positive. So like for me, when with the Conan example, like I interviewed at Conan 2 years before I got the job, and I went into this interview and I didn't get I thought I did well, but they went with someone else. And so I could have let that really get to me. I could have been like, I failed. They're never going to hire me again. Like that was my one opportunity and I let it slip through my fingers. Like I could have told myself all kinds of negative stories about that, but I didn't. I kept just this understanding in myself, a knowing of like, I still want this and I'm still going to keep going for it. Like, I don't care what specific outcomes happen along my journey. I'm still going for the dream. And as long as I still want that dream, as long as it's still active for me in my mind, in my head, in my heart, then I know I'm just going to keep moving towards it. And the best way to think about it is, when you hit those bumps along the way, the feelings of doubt, the insecurity, the negative self-talk, the whatever bumps you, the limiting beliefs in yourself, I want you to just remember that there's some falsity to it. There's some, like, negative thoughts come from negative headspaces. So, and negative headspaces are logically full of confusion and twisted logic and false assumptions and made up stuff that we're telling ourselves that isn't even real, that we're making it up in our head and then assuming it's real. It's full of cloudy thinking. So don't use thoughts that are coming to you, like negative thoughts that are coming from a cloudy space, and don't give those credit. Just tell yourself, like, okay, I had this negative thought. I'm feeling doubt. I'm feeling insecurity. I'm feeling limitation, but I know that those negative thoughts are coming from a cloudy headspace, a negative headspace. So I don't want to give it weight. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to give it, I don't want to operate in my life giving truth and value to what I know is coming from a place of lack, or a place that just is cloudy, a cloudy headspace. I don't want to do it. And then tell yourself, like Alina's doing, she's telling herself, what are the different ways I could look at this same thing that do benefit me, that are good, that are working? What am I doing right now in my life that is helpful? What am I doing in my life that like, for example, for you might be like, well, I'm doing coaching. Like I coach with people. I have a voice coach. I have a voice actor coach. Like you can do that. You could say, because I'm doing things like that, that is working for me. I have a cool resource, or maybe multiple resources. I'm practicing my craft. That's helping me. That's good. What are other things that you could point to? Like I do auditions sometimes. Whenever you get an audition, that's helping you. If you do improv, that's helping you because you're learning how to, like, be more playful, be more fun. You're meeting new people along the way. You're honing your skills. You're like working your craft. So you just pick the things in your life that are going well, that are working, and then you focus on that, to, like we were talking about before, because when you focus on anything, it activates again your reticular activating system. Your mind is now trained to looking at things like that. And just like I started the show, it's also suggesting to your mind these positive things that are going to help you. And then when you're in that positive space, you're right back on track to, even though you can't see your dream or how it might play out or like what could happen to possibly put it together, remember that you don't need to know those details. All you have to do is keep yourself in good headspaces on a regular, consistent basis, not all the time, but just consistently enough to where you'll start popping new ideas, new clarity, new insight, new inspiration, new seeing new opportunities, having the energy to jump on those opportunities, expanding your bandwidth, like all of that will naturally logically help you. So just go, like lean on the logic. Does that kind of help or resonate with you?
Yeah, and also I wanted to know two questions, two other questions. So one, in terms of having a knowing for something,
Mm,
right? When you, let's say you found your romantic partner, or let's say you know, for you, you want to get to Conan or whatever dream, that dream too, and also a career dream, like for what you
mhm,
want in your career. For that developing, having a knowing, does that take time? Or is that
mm.
something could just happen by itself?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer for that one. I mean, I I don't know how to explain how I had a knowing for Conan, like, literally like, since I was, I don't know, in before college, I had a knowing of that. I just knew that I wanted to do that, and it never really occurred to me that I couldn't, and I don't know why. The best thing I could say, the thing I could maybe point to is when I was growing up, my mom and dad were very good at telling me the phrase, you could do anything if you put your mind to it. And I think I just genuinely believe that since I was a kid. And so that really helped. So when I thought like, oh, I want to be on Conan, I want to work on that show. I think because I knew that if I put my mind to it, I could do anything, I truly believed it. And I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen or when it was going to happen or what was going to be the steps that led to it. But I just had this knowing that if I followed that, I could get there at some point. And so I don't know if I can answer the question of like, how do you get that knowing. I think it's just something you might have, um but I think you can if you consider the logic and the common sense of what I'm teaching. I think you can get to a point where you know and believe in yourself too, because you know, every dream that you have is truly just a series of ideas away for you to do. Like ideas that you're going to look into, ideas that you're going to jump on, ideas of what to do, where to go, who to talk to, what to see, what to try, like different opportunities that come your way. Should I do it? Should I not? All of those are just ideas, 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 ideas. And the way to get, so if every dream that we have is just a series of ideas away, then the question becomes, how do I get the best quality ideas so that as I go about my life, I'm operating off of and jumping onto that I'm getting the best ideas for my clarity and for my evolution and for my progress, and spotting and getting the ideas to go do this, to jump on this. For example, I had a friend today who really wants to have a different job. He's also not happy with his job. He came across, but he really likes poker. And he plays it often. He studies it. He just is really passionate about the game. And both really resonate with this one YouTube channel that's like poker based, that like teaches about it, you know, instructional videos, like just like really cool playing, you know, it's entertaining, but it's also informative. And anyway, today he saw a posting from that channel that said they were looking for a specific position in their company to hire someone. And he just happens to have the job at a different company, and that he has that experience in at other companies. But this is about with a company that he
Wow.
really fucking likes. And so that was an opportunity that presented itself along his dream journey of getting the life that he wants, and he was able to spot it and move with it. And now he has a meeting tomorrow to have an interview with that company doing that. So this is like just knowing that all this takes is being in good headspaces as much as you can. And I'm going to keep going back to that because it's just the logical truth is like, if you think about it, like it just makes common sense. If you're in good headspaces on a regular basis, you're going to keep getting quality ideas, and your mind is going to be able to spot opportunities when they present themselves. And I believe if you're into metaphysics or believe if you believe in spirituality, that opportunities also tend to pop up when you're in a state of belief, when you're in a state of, I know that I can do this. I believe in myself. I believe that I can move towards my dreams. And you'll see these things come up in your world. They'll just pop in. You'll see something pop up on your feed, just like my friend did. You'll be browsing some website and you'll see a thing that's like of interest to you. And then it's just a matter of jumping onto it. But at the end of the day, all your dreams are all it is a series of ideas away, and if you keep yourself in good headspaces, you're going to keep getting quality ideas, which are the ones that are going to lead you there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. And also with let's say for example you had an
Hmm.
amazing connection with that person, you know,
Hmm.
that amazing connection you had, and you just feel because of that situation, you want them to be like the one, like your romantic partner.
Hmm.
So like if how you feel about that person, will it manifest? And after when you figured out your brain figures out what you can do to prepare to meet that person, the opportunity to meet that person that you want to be a
Hmm.
romantic partner because it was going great, right? When you met that person, right?
Yeah.
Because they were showing that they were attracted to you.
Mm.
So like you write out how you feel about that person because you're being open about it. You no more like negativity. Oh, this is not gonna happen. What if this? What if that happens? And it's not gonna happen with that person. But then you finally you opened up. You finally said, "Forget it. I'm gonna be positive." And you just write all your emotions, how you feel,
Mm.
and then eventually you will manifest. You will get to that person. That person already manifested on that one
Mm.
day, but
Hmm.
then something you want something more to happen, like if you meet them again a second time,
Mm.
like on the first time you met them, the first day you met them, you know what I mean? And you want the second thing to happen a second time. So then it wouldn't it would that happen, do you think?
Okay, so and I also want Alina to chime in with her like her writing, like what her experiences is that with this, because maybe she would also have some tips here. But here's what I will say about it. We can't predict specifically what will happen and what won't, or who will be like who specifically will. Sometimes we can guess and be right. Sometimes we can guess the exact, like, I had my target set on Conan and I got that. Like, and it was exactly what I was looking for in terms of the show and like working in that kind of in that exact space in that exact show. But I think what's really important is to just keep an open mind and a flexibility when you're going about manifesting things, because it might be that person, absolutely could be, especially if they were showing interest. It wouldn't surprise me if it was, but keep an open mind if you're looking for love, that there might be some, either that person or some other person that fits what you're looking for too and makes you feel just as good or better. So I like to think of it as like I'm open to this or some better opportunity that comes my way as well. And that way you don't get so like stuck on one thing, because if we get stuck in one thing and it doesn't happen, or it's like we hit like these roadblocks in it. Like, so for example, let's say you like someone and they're back and forth with you, but then like maybe the conversation gets slow, or maybe they don't respond very quickly to you and you start to feel a distance there, or they set something up with you and they had to cancel. Then you start reading negatively into it. You start saying, oh, this isn't working out for me, or they don't like me, or I'm being rejected, or whatever. And all that does is put you in a negative headspace, where then you're operating from negativity, where when you talk to that person or text that person, now you have this vibe of like desperation or neediness, or like clinginess, or negativity that is going to repel them further. It's not going to help you. And so no matter what happens, I just want you to be in good headspaces as often as possible. And so don't like hang your hat on this one thing has to happen in this one way. It has to be this person, and it has to happen this way, and it has to happen at this pace. Don't get hung up on the details of
Mhm.
that. Just openly, flexibly go about your journey. Want what you want, enjoy what you enjoy, and if you have fun with this person, like reach out, talk to them, like or keep an open mind that you'll see them again and run into them again, but don't need that to happen in order to be happy or in order to know that you're still manifesting a romantic relationship. If that's truly what you want is a romantic relationship, just keep that openness in your mind. Like, I'm looking for a partner that will be present, that will be happy, that wants to date me, that shows interest in me, that I have fun with, that I can laugh with, that I enjoy being around, and then allow the universe to pair you up with whoever fits that description, whether it's this person or anyone else. And when you have that openness about it, then anytime you talk to that person, you're now operating in this very flowy, easygoing, lighthearted, playful way that is going to give you the best chance for that person to like you. Does that make sense?
That makes
Cool.
sense. But it's hard to let go, like, it's hard to think, "Oh, but be somebody else," because there's no one else that you're attracted to, it's just that one person
I get it. I get it. And
that you
so,
met that to
uh, yes, I definitely
be
understand that.
open.
And listen, you'll have to play this out. It's a practice. This is what I'm suggesting is a practice. So it does take some practice to do it. But I'm just telling you what the most helpful thing I found is. So, you don't have to do it, but you might run into a lot more bumps in the road if you are like, it has to be this way and it has to be this person and it has to go well, because then you're putting a lot of pressure on it and you're putting a lot of like gravity on it. And then suddenly that might change how you interact with that person. If a person feels like
Mhm.
you're trying too hard or like being too aggressive with your approach to that person, it might push them away. So I'm just saying, what is the best way to get the best outcome that you want is to have a very lighthearted, flexible, open, flowy kind of vibe. And I'm very curious, Alina, if you like, what would you recommend for like when in terms of like writing out what you're looking for or like the
Yeah.
positivity things? Like, how would you do something like this
I think
situation?
I just completely, Chris, like I completely understand you, Sakina, on what you're saying. Sometimes it just feels like, well, it has to be this person. I've totally been there before. Not saying I'm a relationship expert because I don't think anyone necessarily
Mm,
is. But I've been in that situation where I thought, well, this relationship was so great. And what if I never have a relationship as great as that one? And then I kind of just I don't know, I let it go and I lived my life and I focused on myself and I went to the gym and I went to school and I studied and I really just started learning about myself, and then another person came into my life and he
mm,
ended up creating in my life, or maybe I helped create in my life a more beautiful situation and person than the last relationship, because at that time I thought there's no way that there could be somebody better
mm,
than what has slipped away. And then the universe, life, God, whatever you believe in, it did prove me wrong because it created something new that I
mm,
didn't even know was possible at the time. And I think, just to add to what you were really asking about, Chris, is how would I write about that? I haven't done this particular writing about relationships recently, but I would think that, if there's anything that you're experiencing towards a particular person or just about relationships in general, romantic relationships, I would ask myself, well, what is the feeling? Is it insecurity? Do I feel like I'm lacking something? What's the feeling that I'm experiencing that makes me think that it can't work out with this person or another person that I maybe have feelings for? What inside me is making me believe that it can't possibly happen? So ask yourself what feeling it is, if it's insecurity, if it's a fear about, an ability to commit, whatever that feeling is, and then ask yourself, well, does this belief mean I'm connected to myself or am
mhm,
I disconnected from myself? And so with negative feelings, it usually means that you're disconnected from
mhm,
yourself, right? And so then you have to look for the opposing evidence in your life. So it's like, if you've discovered that the reason you think that is because of insecurity, start thinking about times in your life where you've showed up with security, right? So
Mm,
where you were really confident, where you did something really brave, or you were
mhm,
validated about, oh, well, that was a really great step that you just took, and I'm so proud of you, right? So like think
mhm,
about the experiences in which prove to you in your current experience that you are actually confident and not insecure as you feel, or if that's about fear of commitment, right? If you've realized, oh, maybe I'm feeling a fear of committing to somebody and I don't know if I'm capable of a long-term commitment, then ask yourself, are there situations in my life that I have committed to long term so far? Do I have a pet that I care
mm.
for constantly? Is there an activity that I do every day? Like going to the gym or going on walks or cooking a meal or cleaning. Are there friendships that I've been able to maintain for a number of years or months even, right? It doesn't have to be that specific, but
Mhm.
just prove to yourself the experiences that you have in your life and have had in your life that oppose that negative belief.
Oh, what good advice, Alina. Oh,
Chris,
I love
this
I
that
is
I
so
you.
get
I
that.
much.
feel like I channeled you right now,
You
Chris.
did, but I love it, and it's amazing. Oh, Sakina, jump
I
in.
get
What
it.
Yeah.
I get it, but the thing is that, like, I there's no relationship. It's just I just met that person just one day, so
Yeah.
right, like, so for
that's what I'm
example, if
saying.
that's
I'm just saying.
yeah, so let's use that then as the example. Like, so maybe something you would write is like, if the fear is, oh, I might not meet him again, or he might not be interested in me, or I might like maybe that won't work out. Then what Alina's suggesting is, well, what would the opposite of that be? Like, what if I met someone that was some that loved to be around me? What if I met someone that was so interested that it wouldn't even be a question if we would see each other again? What if I and then start writing and thinking in terms of like I would love that. I would love a relationship and just list out the things that you would want a relationship with someone to be. I want to have fun with them. I want to play with them. I want to laugh with them. I want to watch movies with them. I want to go on walks with them. I want to go visit. I want to check out restaurants with them. I want to just spend a lot of time with them. I want to connect with them. I want them to like reach out and message me things or like invite me to places. I want to reach out to them and invite them to places. And this is the kind of relationship that I want. And just write about the kinds of things you want, even if they're not part of your reality right now. Like again, like what all we're saying and what Alina's saying, what I'm saying too, is like even if this doesn't exist right now for you, this is a skill and a superpower to be thinking future forward of what you want future forward. Even if your reality does not look this way right now, even if you don't have a person in your life right now, doesn't matter. Still write as though you're looking for that's what you want. Put your focus on that and then go about your normal day, enjoying your day as much as you can. Do the things you love, do the things that are exciting to you, follow your passions, say yes to things that feel good to you, say no to things that don't feel good to you, and live your feel good lifestyle. And watch as your mind, after you've now tuned yourself to the kind of relationship you want, you'll find that kind of person. They'll show up in different places. It might be a chat room, it might be a clubhouse room, it might be someone in your community, it might be who knows how that'll all happen, but you'll know when it happens. You'll know, and maybe it is this person, who knows. We're not ruling that out. Like this person could be the person, but just keep an open mind and a positive, flexible mood about it. Does that kind of make sense, Sakina?
It makes sense, and I'll tell you, Chris. Uh, I used to be negative, like thinking, oh, like what if this happens? I'm not thinking that anymore. My mind has shifted
Good.
to positive because
Good. And you'll
I've
see.
I sorry, party, sorry.
Oh, I was just
What were you
saying,
saying?
like, that's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. And you're going to see this continue. You'll see good things continue the more you think positively, by definition, just because you're thinking more positively, you'll see more positive things happen.
Thank you. Yeah, it's because I'm just thinking negative. I'm sorry, not negative, positive things about this person. You know, if
Nice.
I
Yeah.
see
And
them
that gives
again.
you the
So
best chance for that to happen. That gives you the best chance, but also stay open to it might be someone else. But also know the more good headspaces you're in and the more positively you're thinking about it, the more your body language will be pleasant to him and other people, the more your voice and your tone are going to be more pleasant and enjoyable for him and other people, the more your words and the things you say and the phrasing you use is going to be pleasant to him and other people, the more your actions and your choices and your decision to text and what to write and how when to call is going to be pleasant to him and other people. And all of that is going to logically help you get the best results possible. I do want to start to wrap up. Let me take one more comment from each of you, and then I'm going to wrap up because I've been here for an hour 10 now. So, any
Okay.
last words you want to talk about, or
Yeah, it's
last things you want to say before we wrap?
I'm not willing to I'm not willing to be open up to others. I'm just willing to be with this because I want to see what's gonna happen next with this person. I'm not willing to open up and think about other people because this is the first time ever in my life that this happened before. So and I've been in school for a
Okay,
very long
cool,
time, high
cool. Just
school, college, adult
that's
school, and this
amazing.
never
Keep
happened. And finally, been like
cool.
when I
I'm
was
very happy for
27.
you. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited. And keep us posted with what happens. Like, I think that's amazing. Like, do what feels best ultimately. And I suggest a lot of things on this show and on my channel. But ultimately, this is about listening to you and doing what's best for you. So, anytime you feel like
Yeah.
differently than what I'm saying, like, you should let your feelings override whatever I'm saying. Like, do you, like, do your thing. Also, I'm not saying, just to clarify, I'm not saying think about other people. I'm just saying keep an open, flexible mind about anything and how things happen. But I'm glad, do your thing, enjoy it. I'm so glad you're experiencing this. I hope it goes far. It's amazing. Keep us posted and come back if you have updates. Okay, Sakina?
Okay, I will, and I'll do a session with you regarding this,
Okay,
like a private session.
cool.
Yeah.
Alina, any
So,
final thoughts?
I just wanted to say thank you so much as usual for the time and the space, and also thank you for asking for, my feedback in relation to Sakina's situation, because it also, I think helping others find their path also helps us find our own path.
Mm,
So I'm always open to that as well. If Sakina has any advice on stuff, I'm also open to hearing it. I think that is what really helps us grow, because we
mhm.
all have different minds. Yes, we are similar as human
Yes.
beings, but we all have value to add. So thank you.
Oh, hell yeah. I agree. Absolutely.
well, what I would say to that is, don't listen to other people if it doesn't resonate to you what they're saying.
Yeah, I
In regards to
sometimes
like
you just
what I'm
have to
talking
do
about.
what you said you
If they're
wanted
saying
to
be
do.
open to other people, they're like, no way.
I get it.
You know,
I get it.
just
Yes.
stick to what you believe. I'm very stubborn person. I'm a very stubborn person for what I want. You
Yeah,
know,
no, and
and
that's
I hate it
okay.
when other people are like, no, think about this other thing.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of us are.
Think like this.
Mhm. Mhm. And being stubborn is not a bad thing. It's actually a good trait when it's channeled in the right direction.
There you go. There you
Remind
go.
yourself
Perfect.
of that.
Yes. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for contributing. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for being here, adding your presence, adding your wisdom. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Yoni, for being in the chat. Oh man, did I miss any chats? No, I did not. Okay, good. Thank you, Yoni, for being here, for watching. Thank you, anyone, for watching. If you're watching this on replay or if you're watching it live, do me the favor of giving me a thumbs up, like this channel, like this video. It really helps. If you also add comments or like share with you, what are your dreams? I'd love to hear, if you're watching this, what are the dreams that you're manifesting in your life? What do you want to become a reality? What are you moving towards that's close to your heart, that's important to you? I would love to hear. Also, that helps the channel too, because the more you interact with this video, the more YouTube shows it to more people, and then other people can get insights like this that are so valuable. So if you found this valuable or any part of it valuable, do something to engage with the video so that YouTube could be like, oh, I'll show it to more people. Sure. And then other people get more value out of it. So share the love, share the wealth. Last thing, oh, yes. And if you're interested in what I do, you can check out my website. I have a free newsletter. It'll teach you how to understand your emotions. I teach emotional mastery. So learn in very simple ways the things that, like Alina was saying today, the things that we were talking about in terms of like how to redirect your thoughts, That's all covered in my free newsletter. You can get that today for free whenever you want to read it as a daily little reminder, little mindset cheat codes for you. And if you're interested in working with me personally, you could check out my website too. I have a coaching session page that you can sign up for, different programs that I offer to learn to how to understand your emotions, what they are, what they mean, what to do with them, so that you can navigate literally any situation that you might be dealing with in your life in a way that feels good to you and gets you the kind of results that you want. With that, I will say thank you guys again for being here, and I'll see you guys next week. Maybe.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.
You're gonna be on next week,
I'll
right?
be on next week, but I can't guarantee that anyone's going to show up. Like, I don't know. Will you be there next week?
Yes.
I will
Alina's
be
going to
here.
be. Okay,
I will
great.
be here next week. I thought you were not gonna come.
No, I'll come.
And I
I'll
was
come.
waiting for you. I was thinking, what's going on?
No, I'll be here next
Pardon?
week. And then it sounds like both of you guys will be too. So and maybe Yone will be here too. So thank you guys. I'll see you then.
See you then. Have
Bye.
fun.
Okay, bye.
Bye.